All right, so today I'm going to talk about what is industrial organizational psychology, which is my field, and it's a question that I actually get from my parents, even and from my family and my brother. And I think for that reason is really deserving of a presentation, which I will translate in Spanish just for them. So starting with a definition, industrial organizational psychology is the study of human behavior at work or in organizations. A good point to start is where did it all start? And it actually started in the military. During World War I in the United States, there was a very big need, a very large need to mobilize a lot of soldiers and put them in the right place, in the right responsibilities. So what the government is, they hired a group of applied psychologists to develop assessments that would help understand what are the drives and the needs of the soldiers so we can place them efficiently in the places that we need. By World War II, applied psychologists became an integral part of the military and the government, but also in the private sector. There was a lot of research being conducted in both the public and the private sector. Then in 1945, the American Psychological Association, the APA, officially recognized the field of IO. And then in 1982, the SIOP, or Society for Industrial Organizational Psychology, which I'm a member of, and I would love to talk about them on a different post, also came to life. So now we get to the even cooler part, which is the difference between the I and the O, which I think that is really important for us to understand the field and to understand where can you focus on the field depending on the route that you take. So I is really referring to industrial, and what means is the very scientific part of the field. There's a lot of data analysis there's a lot of job analysis, there's performance management, there's selection of employees. Every single decision there has to be completely backed by research and science so that you're not messing with people around just from a thought or to understand things better. Examples are always the best. To give an example on employee selection, if we create a selection tool for an organization, it needs to be non-exclusive of certain people just because, or exclude certain races or exclude certain ages. You cannot just do that. So you have to create a tool that is scientifically based and backed by research to make the best decisions for the organization. So the role of an IO is really to balance how can I make the organization be the best and the most efficient and get the best employees, and at the same time, how can I be human? How can I consider that human factor and make sure that I respect everything about it? And if we go on examples, I could just go on forever. So we're gonna touch on very quickly performance management. The way that we analyze performance of employees also has to be backed by research and science, so that we're not making decisions that are gonna hurt employees, and the way that we do it has to be better than what we have been doing the previous years or years in the past, and we're getting better, exponentially better at that, and we're helping companies to do so. That's the role of an IO. We go to the other side, the O, organizational psychology, which focuses more on things like leadership development, training of employees, developing training programs for specific things that need to be learned within the organization or within a team, leading teams, etc. Also organizational development as a whole. How can we make an organization work better as a whole? That's what the O focuses on, and it stands for organizational psychology. Very well-rounded IO psychologist has deep knowledge of the I and also of the O. However, you have a lot of different avenues that you can take within this field. So, like everything else, it's usually good to specialize or to become really good at something within that field. Something that I'm very passionate about and what my focus is within this field is cross-cultural relations or international relations, and using IO to develop that. So for example, say that we have a team that works in the US and they're very successful, but the company is opening up a new team that is going to work in India, and they're going to send some managers to work in India and teach in the India area, the India section, on how to do things. So we need to teach those managers or to train those managers to be culturally sensitive enough to do it the right way and to be successful in India, which is gonna take something completely different than what it would take in the United States. My passion and my focus is that international side of IO, and within that side, there's humanitarian work psychology, which focuses on making work better in countries that really don't have that chance, or developing countries. Usually we tend to focus on the formal economy versus the informal economy, which is the one that we have the data for. The formal one is the one that we know, but there's so many employees that work on informal economies that are not being treated right, that they don't have rights, that they don't have the conditions to work well. And that's really what a lot of psychologists or IO psychologists working in humanitarian work psychology do. And there's a lot of United Nations work done in that sense as well. And I will get on that at a different time, because that's a whole other topic that is crazy interesting and that I would love to share with you as well, because there's some bright people helping the world. And as I was saying before, a lot of times the best way to share things is through examples. So stay tuned, because on the next videos or presentations, I might bring someone different to give their own opinion and their own experience on what is IO for them and why to do IO. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this one. For me, it was fun, so it was a pleasure. Thank you.